Hello, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking and Travel Podcast. My name is Darren, of course. Today I have a special guest, Angela Garner of Virgin Voyages, and we're going to talk about everything related to Virgin Voyages cruise line. I'll be right back with Angela, and we'll get right into it. Welcome to the Fire and Water Cooking and Travel Podcast, where we discuss all things food, cooking, and travel related. Join us as we discuss all different types of cooking methods, cooking styles, all different types of food and restaurants. And of course, we'll talk about travel as it relates to foodie travel, like cruises, all different kinds of food tours, and all that we'll have on special guests to talk about cooking methods and cooking styles, and also travel. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Well, thanks for joining me back here on the Fire and Water Cooking and Travel Podcast. I am Darren, of course, and today I've got a real special guest. I got Angela Garner. She is from Virgin Voyages Cruise Line, and she is the local or the Western Florida Business Development Manager. She makes sure all us travel agents get all the information that we need and everything that we, all the specials and everything that we need to know about to make sure you guys get all the special treatment that you deserve. So, Angela, welcome to the podcast, and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, Darren. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Angela Garner, and I have the pleasure of working with all of our amazing travel advisors on the west coast of Florida and the Florida Panhandle. So it's a pleasure to work with people like you, Darren, to help get their guests excited about setting sail the Virgin Way.
Well, and one of the things I like about Virgin and the way, especially with you, is you're very hands-on with the travel agents and you offer a lot of support for us out there. And there's other travel, other travel companies, not just cruise lines, but other travel companies that, they'll see you if you're doing a special meeting, or every once in a month you'll get some kind of update, or you just get pretty much the same ads that they send out to the regular travelers. Well, you guys are a lot different. You guys do a lot of, updates and what's going on to the travel agents themselves. And you kind of focus on the travel agents instead of just the regular, people who book themselves. That's what I really like about you guys, and especially, I think you've got probably the most, business development reps in Florida as far as a single cruise line. Most of them only had maybe one or two, and you guys, I think you got 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, we actually have 4, including myself, and we do things a little in typical, Virgin Voyages and Virgin fashion. We do things a little bit differently. So, our sales managers are located geographically where all the travel advisors are. So, we have a lot of travel advisors in South Florida, obviously Central Florida and West Florida. So it allows us to spend a lot of time in the territory which we actually live in, and to get in front of our amazing travel advisors for training events, to keep them updated on the latest updates, and really to support them with growing their business, because we really do value all of our incredible travel advisors that work with us. And we know that we couldn't have gotten where we are today without their, passion and support for Virgin Voyages.
Well, and I think that support is really needed because you guys do offer a lot of different programs. Every week you're coming out with something new, and you guys, are out there letting us know about it right away. We don't have to go bury it, look for it, bury it in the website somewhere, or wait for some special, email to come out once every couple of weeks, or get, notified through one of the, consortiums or something about what's going on with you guys. You guys are there, communicating with us right away. And there's a lot going on, and I don't think people really understand, for as limited of cruise itineraries and stuff that you kind of have around, compared to some of the bigger cruise lines that have 20 or 30 ships. You guys still have a lot going on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we currently have 3 ships sailing. We'll be launching our 4th ship next year, and we're literally building everything from the ground up. So it's a really exciting time, and a really exciting company to be working for, because we've got a lot of, new updates, coming weekly, sometimes daily, that we, of course, want you to be on top of, so you can let all of your amazing sailors know about the exciting updates that we have.
So let's talk about you. How long have you been in the travel industry yourself, and what did you do before if you haven't been in the travel industry?
Sure. So I've been with Virgin Voyages just over 3 years, and that is actually my first full-on experience working in the travel industry. So previously, I worked for a marketing technology company in their client services department, and before that, I worked for one of the largest musical instrument retailers, growing their lesson facilities. So definitely a lot of different paths, but I think that my background and experience was absolutely perfect to join the Virgin team, just with their emphasis on the music and marketing and branding. But it's been a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, and it's all marketing. So I mean, it's especially in your role, you're not marketing to consumers mostly, even though you do the sailor nights, which are excellent, by the way. That's I wish some of the other cruise lines would do that. Have something that you can send that we can send to our clients to explain about what you guys offer compared to some of the other lines. I mean, I think that's a really tool. I've actually sent some clients to them and actually got some clients from that
Oh,
because they're kind
fabulous.
of like because nobody really knows a whole lot about Virgin still. It's kind of you know I know I was one of the people back a few years back when you get locked into going on the same cruise company over and over because they got their loyalty and stuff, so you get used to how everybody operates. And then, eventually you try somebody else and you go, wow, this is different. And I kind of like it. And I think I've expanded, what I've, really like over the years. And that's what drove me to get into the travel business is like, you know what, I feel like I missed out, for a few years because we were locked into one cruise company because we got used to it and then we got kind of bored with it. And now, I think all the other cruise lines are trying to help themselves change, and offer more and more, like with Royal with their huge ship that's got so much stuff on it you can't do in a day. So I really like the fact that you guys are really out there showing people how different you guys are. So um, let's go at a brief history of Virgin Voyages because that's what I'm leading up to. So it's Richard Branson's brainchild, and want you to kind of explain where it came from.
Yeah, so I mean, I know most people are very familiar with Sir Richard Branson and his many Virgin Group companies, obviously Virgin Atlantic, with the airplanes, definitely a disruptor in the airline industry, Virgin Records, Virgin Galactic. So Richard Branson, which I thought was really interesting, he actually started the idea of Virgin Voyages when he was in his 20s and wanting to have a ship for under 30-year-olds. And then as he progressed and got older, the age of the sailors or the guests became a little bit older too. But ultimately, he really wanted to create a cruise line for anyone that is young at heart and really enjoys life. So when Sir Richard Branson was younger, he really had no desire to, go on a cruise ship. He's certainly somebody that I really can't visualize being on one of the traditional cruise lines because he is just such a rule breaker, might not like all that structure. And he thought that if wasn't really interested, there's probably a lot of other people who might not have tried cruising. And really kind of conceptualized the idea of Virgin Voyages, but it took him up until a little over 10 years ago to really get things going. So even though we've only been sailing about 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years, Virgin Voyages was founded almost 10 years ago at the end of 2014. So obviously it took time to build the ships, took time to really come up with the concept of Virgin Voyages. So we did a lot of market research to find, obviously, we were not going to create another cruise line. Richard Branson has never done that with any of his Virgin brand companies. He's often been a disruptor within those industries. So we really found out what really resonated with our sailors, with cruisers, what we could do a bit differently to really provide something that's never been done before at sea and really a unique offering. So we were originally supposed to launch in March of 2020, Scarlet Lady, but unfortunately, we know what happened then. We actually did all of our launch events and then the world shut down. So fast forward to October 6th of 2021. We had our inaugural voyage. We call them Mermaiden voyages. out of Miami on Scarlet Lady. And fun fact, that is actually the first time that Richard Branson cruised, was on our Mermaiden voyage. And he's been very involved in our company since then. He sails with us multiple times a year and is very involved with a lot of our other special events. So after Scarlet Lady launched in October 2021, we launched Valiant Lady just a few months later in March of 2022. And then Resilient Lady, we launched in May of 2023. And when you think about that, we launched 3 ships in under 2 years, which is really unheard of. And we are getting ready to launch our 4th lady ship, Brilliant Lady, in September of next year. So like I said, a very exciting time to be at Virgin Voyages.
Yeah, it definitely has, you would think, just from what you guys offer right now, that you've been around for a long time. I know you said it started 10 years ago, but didn't launch until, 2021. But
Mhm.
as fast as, you guys have grown, and it does take time to put those ships out. Sometimes it took some 5 years or so to get everything designed and put out there. So, and that's one of the things I want to talk about is what makes Virgin stand out from other cruise lines. And one of them is that your ships are very, if not exact, but they're very similar to each other. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so all of our 4 lady ships, they are for the most part built identical in design in terms of the deck plans, the layout, the size. We are all mid-sized ships. So, at max capacity, we hold about 2,770 sailors, 1,150 crew. The great thing is that our sailors are finding that they really love the design of the ship. And we find with all of them, they really do. A lot of our sailors are rebooking and they're checking out our ships. And you have this feeling of really coming home. It doesn't matter what ship that you're on. The eateries are the same. The vibe of the ship is the same. The entertainment might be a little bit different. But with having our ships all kind of the same layout, all the design, when you look at other cruise lines, they do have multiple different kinds of classes, but they have, dozens, if not more, ships. And within those classes, they usually have about 4 or 5 ships that are almost identical. So we really launched the first 4 of our lady ships kind of, I'm assuming, with that similar concept. We're brand new, and we really wanted our sailors to have an amazing experience and really to enjoy every single voyage, no matter what ship that they're on. And when you think of it from a branding kind of standpoint, it's like thinking of going to Starbucks. Doesn't matter what city or country that you're in, no matter what Starbucks that you go into, that you're going to have, what kind of experience that you're going to have, the product that you're going to get, and you have that kind of expectation of that service and your overall experience. And that's exactly how that experience on Virgin Voyages is, no matter what ship that you are on. Like I said, though, even though the layouts or the deck plans are the same, there are definitely differences in all of our different lady ships. Some things aesthetically might be a little bit different. They've got their own personalities. And we do have different entertainment in terms of our big shows that they do vary from ship to ship. So while our sailors will have that feeling of coming home or that same experience on all 4 of our ships, they'll have a little bit of a different experience too in terms of some of the things that they get to experience on board.
Well, and I'm sure the crew, that all the crew have their own personalities as well. So that always
Absolutely.
plays a big part in what's going on the ship as your crew members as well.
Mhm.
So one of the things I love about Virgin over the others is you kind of went the opposite way of all the other cruise lines because most of the cruise lines started out not nickel and diming people to death. When they first started out, everything was kind of included, and you only really paid extra for something like maybe super special. But now they've gone to the opposite direction where you get on a royal ship or a carnival ship, there's a lot of extras that you can buy and include. But you guys are doing most everything is included with you guys. So let's talk about that right now.
Oh, absolutely. So we call it our always included luxuries. So, through our years of research, we not only wanted to kind of find out what we could do differently in terms of experience, But we also found out, not surprisingly, that, people don't like to be nickeled and dimed. They want to have a certain expectation of what they're going to spend, and they want to feel like they're going to having a good value for the money that they're spending on their vacation experience. So this is where we develop the concept of always included luxury. So no matter what voyage that you sail on, no matter what cabin you're in, you're going to enjoy $1,000 of value of inclusions. All of our sailors get to enjoy this, which is awesome. So our 20 plus eateries on board, including 6 specialty restaurants, there is no upcharge to dine at any of them. Whereas if you are going on to specialty dining on some of the other, vacation options that you might have, you could be spending upwards of $50 or $60 per person, sometimes more, plus trips, plus gratuities on top of that. So that can get quite expensive just with having that elevated dining experience. On Virgin Voyages, you're typically, you're going to want to dine in those specialty dining restaurants for dinner. Some of them are open up for brunch and breakfast, and that's all included. Our tips and gratuities are included as well. We do take great care of our crew. So you're never going to see that 18 or 20% gratuity charge on top of your purchases on board. You're never going to see that hotel service fee sneak onto your folio. Wi-Fi is another big one. We do believe that's a basic human right. So there's free Wi-Fi for everyone. So you can stay as connected or disconnected as you'd like. Our essential drinks. So essential drinks on board are filtered still and sparkling water, non-pressed juices, sodas, basic teas and drip coffee. You don't have to purchase water or a soda package on board. That is all included. In fact, in your cabins, we have these carafes of water you can have filled with filtered still or sparkling water as often as you need by our crew. Fitness classes. We do have a lot of health and wellness spaces on board. It's not required if that's not what you're wanting to get out of your vacation experience. But we believe if you want to get a great workout during your vacation, we don't believe that should come at a cost. So we have everything from morning meditation, yoga, HIIT classes, spin classes, Zumba. If you're wanting to have a little fun with your workout, we've got some 80s inspired aerobics classes with shake weights and some other fun classes that you can enjoy. That is all free of charge for you to enjoy those group fitness classes. Our shows and entertainment as well. We have original shows that were designed and created just for Virgin Voyages. That is all included. And like I said, that's over $1,000 of value of inclusions that you're going to enjoy every single time that you voyage with us. So something certainly to keep in mind. If you are looking at some, multiple vacation options, because these are things that you are never see charged to your folio, where you're really only spending happy dollars when you're on board. So things that you're actually getting to enjoy.
Yeah, things like excursions, like you don't have to go on excursions. So you guys, have those available if people want to purchase those, and you have different kinds of excursions. The alcoholic drink package. I love the way you guys do the alcoholic drink package, because I wish most of the other lines did it this way, because my wife doesn't drink alcohol at all. And I like to have, I don't drink a lot. I, like to have a glass of wine, or, maybe a couple beers, or maybe a cocktail or two here and there. And the way most of the other cruise lines do their drink packages, I would never buy a drink package, because first of all, I'd have to buy one for her, which she would never use. And then I can't drink 15 drinks a day. So, and they kind of price those in. They're very expensive. So let's talk about how you guys do your alcoholic drink package.
Yeah. So again, through our years of research, we did find that our sailors, they did not want that traditional drink package for that very reason. In this day and age, you have a lot of couples or, friends that are traveling together in the same cabin, that one person loves their drinks and one person might drink very little or nothing at all in terms of alcohol. So, we really provide our sailors with the highest quality of beers, wines, and cocktails at a fair and reasonable street price. So our answer to that traditional drink package is something that we call bar tab. And you can kind of think of it in a similar manner to onboard credit that you can spend on those premium drinks. So premium drinks are alcoholic beverages, mocktails, smoothies, pressed juices, specialty coffees. And while it's not required that you purchase bar tab, the benefit, if you know that you're going to use it, is that we throw in a little bit of extra bonus for you to spend on those premium drinks during your voyage. And so we do sell those in a few different tiers. where you can get a little bit extra bonus by pre-purchasing that ahead of your voyage. Now, if you don't purchase bar tab, or I've certainly heard of people maybe underestimating how much that they're wanting to drink on board. If you get through your bar tab, the drink prices are all the same on board. You're just missing out on that little extra for bar tab that you would have received if you would have purchased that ahead of the voyage. Now, the way it works, there's really not a lot of rules. The main two are it's for premium drinks. So drinks that come at a cost at our restaurants and bars on board, as well as our beach club at Bimini. And it is use it or lose it. But the great thing is you can keep that for yourself. If you're sailing in the cabin with somebody and, maybe you both want to enjoy that bar tab, you're not each required to purchase one, but on board you can link your folios so you can both spend from it, which is pretty neat. And then we are a very welcoming ship if you're sailing with friends or family, or maybe you make some new friends during your voyage. You can actually use bar tab to pay for somebody else's drinks, which is pretty neat. So it is very versatile on how you can use that on board. And again, it gives you the flexibility to really drink as much or as little as you like throughout your voyage.
Hey, it's Darren. I want to make sure you check out Fire and Water Cooking Edible Creations, Seasonings, and Sauces. The black garlic we use is the highest quality domestic black garlic you can find, from the black garlic and herb compound butter to the blueberry and black garlic to our all-purpose black garlic and our black garlic and coffee seasoning. All are amazing, made with the highest quality ingredients. You can find them on Amazon, Walmart.com, and on fireandwatercooking.com. Check them out, guys. Cool. Well, right now I'm going to play a little promotional video that you guys have out there, just to kind of fill some time here and show it. So hold on one second. We'll get this played. So that just kind of shows you kind of what your target market and all that kind of is, and what you guys offer in a brief 30-second little video. So let's talk about your target market, your demographics, and has it changed since you started? Is it moved, and is it always kind of growing into different types of people, or let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the thing I really love about Virgin Voyages is that we really are a cruise line for everyone. So when you're on board, I mean, we are exclusively adults, so you do have to be at least 18 to sail. You could see people, 18, 19, 20s, but you also see people on the other end, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. I actually had an advisor I work with that brought a group on to celebrate her mom's 90th birthday, and they had a great time. So we certainly have a little bit of something for everyone on board. We're really looking for those people that are young at heart, regardless of their age. And if you just want to have those great experiences, you don't want that kind of stuffy formality that you might experience elsewhere. You want to have incredible food and really feel like a rock star. There is a place for you on Virgin Voyages. We've got sailors that want to enjoy that relaxing vacation. They want to enjoy the spa and some of those other spaces on board. There is certainly a lot of that to enjoy. We do have a lot of other activities, happenings, and events that cater to all different interests and hobbies. So you really do see all kinds of sailors on board, which I think is really cool. We are definitely a celebration ship in the sense that, we've got a lot of groups that come on board, whether it's family gatherings. You see multi-generational families, parents and their adult kids, grandparents, their kids and their adult grandchildren, having a family reunion on board. We've got a lot of people celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, bachelorette parties, divorce parties even. There's always a reason to celebrate, even if you don't have a specific reason. We've got couples that want that romantic getaway, honeymoons, or just people that want just that great vacation to break away from the normalcy of their life and just have an incredible epic vacation at sea. So there certainly is a little bit of something for all of our sailors, regardless of what they want to get out of their vacation.
I think initially when it was rolled out, it got a bad rep from a lot of And then maybe even some of the other cruise lines were kind of poo-pooing it because they kind of try to make it out like it was for strictly younger adults, just party and rowdier crowd, just that didn't want any kids around so they could do some, more adult stuff. But I think, like what you said, it's more of maybe it's for the crowd that doesn't want the water slides and the kids running around. They want to relax, and it's kind of hard to do when you got screaming kids, you know, riding the 15 different water slides and roller coasters and stuff that are on the ship. So
Mhm.
it's more if even if you have kids at home and you just want to get away from, hey kids, you guys, we'll take you on a cruise next year on the big one with all the stuff for you. But mom and dad are getting away for a few days on our own cruise ship. So
Oh, absolutely. And we are exclusively adults. So we are we are really providing that elevated experience because we're not catering to kids. So the menus are not catering to kids with those chicken tenders and mac and cheese. The entertainment is not catering to kids. We're not having to entertain kids. So we have a lot more spaces and unique and different spaces on board where really the sea is always front and center. You can really liken the experience of Virgin Voyages to really that glamour of a lifestyle boutique hotel just on the ocean, blended with all the things that, the Virgin brand companies are known for that style and service. So when you come to dining, for instance, where we have menus that were curated by Michelin star chefs and top restaurateurs, the design of the ship, we're very inspired by the super sleek design of those mega yachts, and really just inspired of that modern romance of sailing on the open ocean. And that's really what you can expect when you set sail with us. And I think too, with our marketing, I'm told we used to use a lot of our crew from our ships in some of the promotional marketing. And yes, they do skew a little bit younger, but we are truly for all sailors as long as they're at least 18 years of age.
I want to talk about something you just touched on, which was the food and
Mhm.
how you guys focus on that. And like I said, one of my big things is I focus on food and travel, and food's a big part of my travel when I go anywhere, especially on cruises. And I think most of the cruise lines have expanded their food offerings throughout the years, but you guys kind of came off the bat with, Richard saying, I want food to be a big focus on our cruise ships. And the whole thing of not charging for the specialty restaurants, I think, is a really big plus for you guys because you don't just have, just a steakhouse and an Italian. You got other things as well that you won't even find on other cruise lines. So let's talk about that. How big of a deal is that to your cruisers? Is the food?
Oh, it's a big deal. I mean, that is one of their big differentiators that does set us apart from a lot of the other cruise lines and vacation experiences. So we have over 20 eateries on board. Six of them are those really incredible specialty restaurants. And the other ones there, even though they're quick style eateries, that food is just as delicious as the restaurant experience. But the great thing is all of our eateries are open to all of our sailors. So there is no upcharge to dine at the specialty restaurants. And they all have their own unique personalities and flair and really aesthetic. We don't actually have any buffets or large dining halls, which is something that I really love. Not having buffets helps us reduce food waste. Sustainability is very important for us. You're not going to find single-use plastics on board. We do make our food fresh to order. So the ingredients are really the highest quality, freshest ingredients. We can accommodate a lot of dietary restrictions as well because we are freshly preparing your food, and it tastes fresh, which is nice. You don't have that film that you sometimes see when you're grabbing something from the buffet. And there's also no assigned seating at any of our restaurants either. It's very much like a dining experience that you'd have on land, just on our beautiful ships. We have bars in all of our main specialty restaurants, which we're able to have because the no kids and the bars, we've got some really cool bar spaces in our restaurants as well as outside of our restaurants. And then, our menus were curated by Michelin star chefs and top restaurateurs, as well as some of the best mixologists that have really curated different menus and really different unique dining experiences on board.
So one of the things I like is that, like you said, you don't have a buffet. You have what's called it's more like a food court in a
Mhm.
mall where you have a burger place, you have a sushi place, you have, several different types of food, and then you order and they bring them to you. So it's kind of like, you find out what you want, place your order, and then they'll come find you and bring it to you. And then you have some grab and go stuff as well, like, the bento boxes of sushi that you can just grab anytime, take them back to your room and just hang out at your balcony.
Oh yeah, and the galley, that's the area that you're talking about, is very much like a food hall, and there is a cornucopia of different kinds of foods that you can enjoy. And what's nice is you can go up and order from the different stalls, but if you're having a hankering for a lot of different kinds of things, our crew can basically place that order and have that food delivered directly to you. You know, everything from sandwiches and paninis. We even have ramen and udon, which is really good. Tacos, burritos, diner food. We've got a 24-hour diner in the galley, burgers, pastries, those bento boxes, and so much more. So that is definitely a place to check out. There's a lot of really great food. And we do have some other quick style eateries on board. Our pizza place, probably one of my favorites. You get a personal style pizza made to order. You can even get truffle oil on that. That is included, which is insane. But my personal favorite with all of the more quick style eateries is the dock. So the dock is situated on the aft of the ship. And you've got your day beds, you can get sangria, but this is where we've got a mezza cart with, those Mediterranean styled appetizers and light bites. And we do have an opa hour that we do feature some other special snacks and dips during some certain times of the day. So that is an absolute must when you sail on our ships is checking out that dock space on the aft.
The specialty restaurants, you said there's six of them and they're all included, but the only thing you have to do is make sure you make a reservation
Mhm.
for the time you want to go, because they are smaller. They're not, big, huge places that fit, 150 people. So you got to make sure you get the time slot that you want and all that. But you can actually eat at the same one every single night if you wanted to, correct?
So yes, so you could, but the way that we want our sailors to be able to really have the opportunity to experience all of the eateries. So depending on the length of your voyage, if you are on those shorter voyages where there's basically more restaurants than nights sailing, we do limit the in advance reservations to one per eatery. That way, we can allow all of our sailors to enjoy the various eateries. So we do allow you to make your reservations ahead of the voyage. We do have some certain times where those open up. But we do open up additional reservation times once you're on board. So if for some reason you booked last minute, or maybe you need to switch some things around once you get on board because, plans change, you do have the ability to do that. And we've got a really incredible onboard sailor services team, our guest services team that can actually help you make any updates or make any new reservations once you're on board. But yeah, in theory, if you wanted to dine at the wake every single night, you certainly can. You just can make that one reservation on those shorter voyages.
Now, see, my plan is always to try to take hit every single eatery on a ship as you can. So even in 7 days, it's hard to hit all of them because
Oh, yeah.
you have 20, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you try to hit as many as you can.
Oh,
So
it is. I mean, it is hard. And the thing too is even on those longer voyages, I mean, you go to one of those restaurants and there's a lot of really amazing dishes to choose from. I feel very lucky because I'm vegan. So we do have a lot of vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options in all of our menus. Those items are just as good. But yeah, usually I don't have as many options as you might have. But I mean, you could in theory go back to those restaurants too and have completely different offerings. And the really cool thing about our specialty restaurants is you're not limited to one appetizer, one entree, one dessert. You really can order to your heart's desire. So I always recommend, if you're not quite sure what to order, or if you just really want to get a sampling, ask your server to bring out their favorite dishes or the most popular dishes. And they will bring you out a sampling of some of the more popular dishes. And of course, if you see something else that you'd like to order, please feel free to order away. You're never charged for ordering, more than one appetizer or entree. It's definitely encouraged. You just want to make sure to bring your appetite because there's a lot of great food to be eaten that you can certainly come back and have some completely different offerings as well.
So let's talk about your newest ship. You said that's
Yeah.
releasing this year. It's the Brilliant Lady, and this ship, it's the design is just a little bit different, but there's a reason for it, and I'll let you explain that. And
Yeah.
then it's going to do some things that it's kind of different in the industry. I mean, I guess there's some companies that kind of do it, but they have, longer itineraries and stuff like that. But one of the things you guys are going to be doing with this new ship, it's going to be spread out. It's going to be covering a lot of different areas and a lot of different itineraries that you don't really see much. Usually on the bigger mass market type cruise lines, you'll have one ship and it does either the Eastern Caribbean or the Western Caribbean, and it'll hit, Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and then go back, or it hits the Bahamas and a couple Eastern islands, and it comes back and it does the same loops, back and forth all the time. So the Brilliant Lady is going to be doing a lot of different itineraries and over a span of like 2 years, correct?
So yeah, right now we currently have her. So Brilliant Lady will be launching in September of 2025, and we currently have kind of everything slated through September of 2026. So we have about a year of those itineraries kind of mapped out already. I don't know what we have planned right after that, but we are definitely switching things up with Brilliant Lady. So Brilliant Lady is our fourth ladyship, and she's kind of completing the story of our first four ladyships. So Scarlet Lady, Valiant Lady, Resilient Lady, and then Brilliant Lady. And, we really want this truly to be an epic inaugural year for her. So we're going to actually have four different inaugural voyages throughout that time period, which is very exciting. And we're hitting some new U.S. home ports. So Miami is our main U.S. home port. We have our beautiful Terminal V. It's our own terminal in Miami. She is gorgeous. So that's where really our U.S. voyages have been sailing from up until Brilliant Lady. So we'll be launching her in September 2025 out of New York City. So she'll have some voyages where she'll go to Kings Wharf, Bermuda. She'll have a few different voyages, really highlighting those northeastern ports, including Quebec City, Nova Scotia. And then we'll have an extended period or extended season in Miami. So that will be her second inaugural voyage. So she'll be based in Miami from October 2025 through March of 2026. And what we're doing is we're actually adding in a variety of 7 to 12 night voyages. Most of them are unique. They might repeat once or twice during the season. So there's a lot of different options on Brilliant Lady out of Miami for that season, depending on where you're wanting to sail. This is allowing us to open up some of the southern and southeastern Caribbean islands that we typically have to sail out of San Juan to sail to. So there are really a lot of different voyage options, in addition to our short Caribbean that we'll have on Scarlet Lady and our 7 night voyages that we're introducing on Resilient Lady that year. Once she's done in Miami in March of 2026, to go back to how she's a little bit different. So we actually had to make her a little bit skinnier around deck 8. So we're introducing a new cabin category called the slightly smaller sea terrace. And the cabin area is the same size. It's just the terrace balcony area is a little bit smaller. But what you see is we actually have 2 hammocks on those balconies, whereas all of our other balconies, we have 1 hammock and 2 deck chairs. So a pretty cool thing that we'll have. But the reason why is she'll actually be sailing through the Panama Canal. So we had to make her just a little bit smaller to fit through. So we'll have a 16-night voyage sailing from Panama Canal to Los Angeles in spring of 2026. It is certainly a bucket list itinerary. The ports are really incredible, and just having that experience sailing through the Panama Canal. But then we'll be showing our West Coast people a little bit of love. We'll have some voyages out of Los Angeles, going to Western Mexico and some of the Western US ports. And then we'll be launching an Alaska season out of Seattle, which will be from May to September of 2026. So really a lot of unique and exciting itineraries. We don't have the Alaska itineraries on sale yet. We actually haven't announced them yet. We're still putting the final touches on those, but those will be coming a little bit later this year. But we know, like everything that Virgin Voyages does, it will be truly epic. And what a way to enjoy Alaska. Because the way that our ships are built, it's always the sea is always front and center. So you get those beautiful Alaska views, also without the kids on board, which will be very nice.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I failed to point out before is one of the design features I like about your ladyships is they are mostly balconies. Well,
Mhm.
you do have interior rooms and you do have ocean views, but by far your balconies are the most that you have on the ship, and it's really and the prices aren't really that much more than an ocean view. I mean, I know right now, or you were running a special for a while where it was the same price for a sea terrace, which you call them, than it was a sea view. So because there you have limited number of the sea views available, so it's just
Yeah.
easier, I guess, to get people into a balcony, which they're going to enjoy a lot more, even if they don't spend a whole lot of time on the balcony. I know for me, I just got off a cruise and the balcony just makes you feel like you have a lot more space. An interior or just having a little window doesn't feel as big as just having that big sliding glass door there to be able to go out on your terrace.
Oh, absolutely. And then on our balconies, you have those amazing red yellow leaf hammocks. And I guarantee if you sit in that hammock, you will unintentionally take a nap or two. I do most voyages, and it is truly a way to enjoy those beautiful sea views as well.
This podcast is sponsored by Fire and Water Travel Services. Let us help plan the foodie vacation of a lifetime for you. Whether it's an ocean or river cruise, tours of Europe, all-inclusive resorts in the Caribbean, anything you need, we can help plan it and customize it for you. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, check out fireandwatertravel.com, and also check out our YouTube channel for videos on travel.
As well.
So, and the itineraries you offer now, so you have Europe, you have the Caribbean that you cover with the Scarlet and the Valiant and the Resilient Lady right now, and then they come back and forth. So you'll send the Scarlet Lady over to Europe during the summer seasons, but you'll keep one ship over here to kind of handle some of the Caribbean and all that. And then the Resilient Lady, you're going to be bringing it to Puerto Rico, correct?
Yeah, so yeah, the end of this year we'll have a season out of San Juan. So those are going to be those longer Southeastern Caribbean itineraries, and she'll be sailing from about December through April. And then basically we'll be doing the same thing with Valiant Lady the following year. So really exciting to have those options in the Caribbean, out of Miami, but also out of San Juan, to enjoy some of those Southeastern Caribbean islands. Those are incredibly port intensive itineraries that we have. So you're almost in a port every single day. And then, during the summer months from about May through October, we will have two ships out of Europe, two out of our three ships currently. So home port to Athens, Greece, Barcelona, Spain, as well as Portsmouth, UK during part of the season. So a lot of really great and unique itinerary options depending on where you're wanting to travel to and the time of the year.
Yeah, I'm actually getting ready to go at the end of next month. Me and my wife are going to the doing the Adriatic gems and Greek, or what is it?
Adriatic and Sea and Greek Gems itinerary.
Yeah, and Greek and yeah, gems. It's so it starts in Athens and finishes in Athens, and it goes up and does Dubrovnik and Split and the Croatia area, and then Montenegro, which is I don't think people really understand how beautiful that part of the world is. I mean, that's where Game of Thrones was filmed. So
Yeah.
if you're a Game of Thrones person, you go, where is that place? Because that is so amazing. I mean, that's where it is. And I'm really looking forward to that. And we've never been to Greece before, so we get to experience Athens as well. So since your ships are kind of on the mid-size, they're not 7,000 passengers, does it get you into some ports that maybe you couldn't get into if you had much bigger ships?
Absolutely. I don't know the specific ports, but I definitely know because we are a mid-sized ship and just the way that the ship is designed, we are able to get to a lot of those smaller ports that, those mega ships cannot get to. And we also have the ability, and we see this a lot in our European itineraries, San Juan too, that we have a lot of later stays. So you stay a lot later in the evening than some of those other larger ships. And we do actually have some overnights in some of our ports as well. And you see a lot more of that in Europe. But yeah, certainly you start to look at those different ports and those itineraries, and our sailors get really excited because there's a lot of ports that they haven't previously been able to go to just because of the size of our ship.
So we talked about the brilliant lady and what she's going to be doing and a lot of the different itineraries she's going to be doing. So what, I don't know if you even know what's Richard got on his mind for after Brilliant Lady.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I know it's been a very busy few years for us. We've launched 3 ships in just about 2 years, and we're getting ready to, launch our 4th ship next year. So, we've really had our hands full with, ensuring our ships are getting launched and our sailors are really having an amazing experience. So, I don't know of any future plans that are in the works. I'm sure at some point they'll tell us, but we're just focused on making sure that our sailors are having that incredible time on board and getting more of them on board to have that epic experience.
Well, to me, just seeing what they're going to be doing with the Brilliant Lady just shows me that they're always looking to do something a little different and offer
Absolutely.
something that's a lot more that people look at and go, wow, I want to do that. I can't believe, well, they're going there, they're doing this, so to me, it's always going to be something I'm going to be looking at and go, all right, what's Virgin doing now?
Yeah.
Because
Keep you on
it's
your toes.
yeah, and like I was telling you earlier before we even got on here, is that I think people get locked into, I've been on, 15 different Royal Caribbean cruises and they're all the same kind of thing. Or, they may offer a new roller coaster or an ice skating rink, but, well, who cares if you're not into that stuff? But to me, what Virgin's doing is a little bit different because it's gearing towards what adults like to do and it changes things up. So it's not just the same old, same old. You can do the same old if you want to. You can go, if you just want to go hit the Bimini Beach Club in Nassau or, every time, you could probably do that. But to me, to be always changing, always improving is kind of what I really look for and when I'm traveling, especially.
Oh, absolutely. And we see that like with our entertainment, some different, special voyages we've had, we're always, trying to create an even more incredible experience for our sailors. And we're actually finding we have a lot of people, that are traditional cruisers and they've done the same thing for years and years and years. And they just wanted to try something a little bit different and they're loving their experience on board. They just have to, shy away from the things that they've done before and be open to trying something new. We know that they're going to love it. We've also had a lot of people that might not have been avid cruisers, but they've been those all-inclusive people that they've always done all-inclusives, but they gave us a try and they're really loving their experience. And we're seeing that both kinds of sailors are rebooking when they're on board and they're coming back to enjoy us for more and more because they just love that experience.
So let's talk about a couple projects or programs that you guys have run out there that recently. So I know during the summer you have the month where you can actually book the cruise for the whole month and like work from your cruise kind of thing. What was the name of that
That's
program?
our summer season pass. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you can actually book, is it like 4 cruises in a row and like for the whole month or?
Yeah, so we had for our European voyages, it was basically 4 7-night voyages back to back. And then we recently launched one for our Valiant Lady for the Caribbean voyages. And since those are like shorter 4 and 5 night voyages, I don't know exactly how many are booked together, but you can basically book a month's worth of voyages for a flat rate, which is pretty exciting. We've gotten people that are remote workers, but also people that have the ability to to take that time off and travel and really immerse themselves in those, different itineraries and different ports. So that's something that actually was an idea from Sir Richard Branson to put together, and our team made that happen. And then right now we just launched our Eat and Drink Month too, which is during the month of July for all three of our ships, where we do have a more enhanced dining and drink experience on all of our ships, and a lot of different activations, special guests. So we're always trying to keep everybody on their toes and really kind of, create that excitement and make it better each time that we do it.
Well, and you're also doing the special three sailings this year with Richard Branson's actually going to be on the ships, right?
Yeah, so those are our celebration voyages. We did our first one last year on Resilient Lady out of Athens, Greece. And it's really just celebrating, the entire Virgin brand, the history of the Virgin brand. So that was a big success. The feedback that we got from our sailors on board was just overwhelmingly positive. So we said, why not do it on all three ships around the same time? So we have Sir Richard Branson, Nirmal, our CEO of Virgin Voyages, as well as Boy George, that are going to be joining on all three of those voyages. So we've got one in the Caribbean at the end of August. We have one out of Barcelona at the beginning of September, and then one out of Portsmouth, UK. So that'll hit all three of our ships. And then on the different voyages, we will have other special guests. So more speakers from Virgin Voyages who have been integral in our success, and a lot of the other Virgin Group companies too. So we've got a lot of exciting events and activations and different programming on each of those voyages for our sailors to enjoy.
And just remember, everybody, if you're looking to book any of those, contact me, Fire and Water Travel. I can get you on any of these ships, and sometimes we get some special sailor loot. Let's talk about sailor loot, because you guys call it sailor loot, but it's really onboard credit for that special treat.
So Sailor Loot, it's basically our word for onboard credit. We use a little bit of a different lingo on board, but you can certainly call it onboard credit. So that is something that you can use for all of your onboard spend during your voyage. And we do have I know with your agency's relationship with outside agents, you do have exclusive onboard credit that you have for your sailors when they book with you. So if you book into one of our Sea Terrace balcony cabins or the lower tier of our Rockstar suites, Darren can actually get you an exclusive $100 in onboard credit or sailor loot to use for your upcoming voyage. So so certainly get in touch with him if you're excited about these itineraries, these special voyages. He'll not only provide you the service and the experience from sailing with us and all the knowledge of the training that he's done, but he can get you a little extra something to spend when you're on board.
Yeah, and like I said, they're one of my favorite cruise lines because they do a lot for the travel agents, and they do a lot for the sailors, and that's what I like. The sailors are front of mind with them. They're not just a number. They're not just somebody there and that they see a dollar sign and they try to get as much money out of them as possible, which I think a lot of the cruise lines are doing that now. They try to put as much cash registers on board that to take more money out of you. They'll get you on board for, okay, you can get on for $500, but you get off paying 3,000, where it's not like that with Virgin. So it's, here's what your cost is, but this is what you get, and this is a great time you're going to have doing it. And especially if you're not looking for the next water slide or amusement park feature that they have. I think if you're an adult and you don't want the kiddie stuff and you're looking for an option, Virgin's the way to go. If you're a foodie and you love the different food options and not having to come out of pocket every time you want to go to a different specialty restaurant, Virgin is the way to go. If you want to go to some different ports that you've never been to, you want different options of where it goes, Europe and all that, Virgin's the way to look. So is there anything else you want to bring up before we cut it short? I don't want to keep you all night. I'm sure we could talk all night about
Oh,
cruising. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I could talk all day and all night about Virgin Voyages, but if I I would certainly just say that we have a little bit of something for everyone. It doesn't matter what age you are, what your interests are, and what you're really looking to get out of a vacation. We've designed Virgin Voyages to cater to everyone. So if you're somebody that you love that great food, as Darren mentioned, you're young at heart, you want to have just try to have new experiences and just have a great time. You don't want that stuffy formality, being told what to wear, when to dine, and you just want to feel like a rock star. You are going to love your experience on Virgin Voyages. Just get in touch with Darren. There is certainly an itinerary for you. You're going to love our ships and you're going to have a truly amazing time on board, and we'd love to have you.
Well, thank you for your time, Angela. Really, you helped me out a lot since I started, and really look forward to doing a lot of business with you guys over the years. And thanks again, and it's been a really great time.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope to see you on board sometime soon.
I'm sure they will. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again, guys, for tuning in to Fire and Water Cooking and Travel Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on the next one. And if you have any travel needs whatsoever, give us a call, or message us, or get a hold of us anyway, fireandwatertravel.com. I'll see you on the next one.